All right, Power fans and surrounding areas, welcome to Podcast Wednesday, and this is our first podcast of the Wednesday this evening, and we're going to be talking a few moments here, a few minutes here with us. We usually come on at 6:30, but Coach had to come on a little early, so we're coming on about 45 minutes, 30 minutes early from what we originally do. But we want to talk a little bit and get Coach's thoughts on and recap some of the previous games. Coach and the Lady Pirates traveled over to Calallen for a tournament. And we knew, Coach, last week when we talked that there were going to be some tough competition there. You talked a little bit about some of the teams that were going to be in there. It was a big tournament. We thought that this would be good for the Lady Pirates. Again, it's a new system. The girls are
Oh, the Bay tournament in Calallen they host. Calallen does a really good job of hosting it, and there was 24 teams, and we're talking about teams from Midland, Texas, teams from Calallen. Of course, there's a few local teams, but a lot of large schools, some private schools, Cornerstone's well known in the uh, San Antonio area, and they usually carry a lot of talent. They were there, but it was a huge tournament, and again, schools from all over the state were present, and our girls were exposed to a lot of talent, and they were able. Good for our girls to see that type of play at that high level of competition, and our girls really stepped up to the challenge, and they weren't scared. They it didn't matter who they were or what school we played against. So that's what I was hoping to see, that we went out and competed the best that we can. That objective was met, and we succeeded in that area. So it was a good tournament, overall tournament for us, just because again we were exposed to a lot of good talent, and usually when you play top competition, it really shows the weaknesses that you have as a team. It really magnifies the areas that we need to work on. So that's exactly what we did after watching film, geared up to really um, work on those weaknesses that we saw at the tournament. So it was good overall for us.
Yeah, I thought that it would be for us, and seeing that tough competition in those schools that you talked about that are well known, to be able to be on the court. It's one thing to see them; it's another thing to play against them and see the speed and the passing of the ball. That's exactly where our program wants to get. So I think it's good for especially our younger players, the freshmen and sophomores, who are going to continue to play in our program. They get to see exactly what that looks like. And then we get to watch the film on it and work on those weaknesses, like you said, that they were able to expose. The Lady Pirates will be traveling again on the road. They will play in the Pirates were off completely, but where did the other levels, our freshmen and JV, did they play on Friday, and then our middle school?
Well, our middle school, our sub varsities hadn't played since the last time we talked. So I don't have any updates on them besides them being at practice and getting some work in. Um, but
And we want to let the community just kind of know exactly what's going on at that level. Um, Coach, let's if you can talk, and I don't know if you can say anything here, but I want to ask, what is the what's it looking like for our injuries? Are we healthy? I don't know if you can go into any details, but are we healthy at this point? Talking about our varsity squad.
yes, we may be a little sore because we hit the weights hard the last 2 days. Because I want to make sure we get our weight training in this week. Because of tournament play, we're kind of thrown off of our schedule a little bit. Uh, where we play Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So typically, uh, uh, during that time, we get a couple of days of weights in. But we went back to back days just to make sure we get 2 weights of workouts in. So we lifted after practice on Monday, and then again on Thursday. I mean on Tuesday, and then I kind of changed up the training a little bit to do a little bit more tempo with our weights. and give them very little rest time in between sets, just because I try to preach to the girls we're going to play how we train. So when we got in the weight room, we kind of changed our workout a little bit to do a little bit more tempo where the fast pace, there's a little bit more sense of urgency between our sets, to try to mimic the style of play that we want to see on the court, which is of course basketball is up and down the court, and it's fast paced, and so of course we want to train how we're going to play. So they're a little bit sore because of it, but it's part of the process. I tell them that's a good sign that they worked hard. So they're going to be sore. That's expected and that's normal. So we're going into it a little sore, but nothing major.
I like that, coach. I like that. I never heard a coach say that we're gonna lift like we want to play, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Because then you get into that routine. It's a faster pace, and so just the way you work out is what it's going to be expected when you play. And so I think it's going to help. Obviously, tempo is important in basketball. It's a fast paced sport. I mean, you got to be quick. You got to think quick. And so I like exactly what you're saying, coach, here. And hopefully that's going to help our girls. And so now, as I said, the Lady Pirates will be traveling tomorrow to Orange Grove. They'll be going there a couple of days. They'll be in another tournament. Right now, during the non-district, you usually have a couple of tournaments that you play in before you start district play. That's still a little ways down. But coach, talk to us a little bit about tomorrow's tournament in Orange Grove. What are you expecting there in terms of the teams that will be playing, possibly a smaller tournament, maybe, but what teams will be there? And do you already know if we're going to be in pool play, who we will be playing, and what do you expect to see? What do you want to see from the Lady Pirates in this tournament?
Okay. First of all, the teams that they're going to be there, it's a smaller uh, tournament as far as number of schools. Kingsville, Lyford, George West, Calallen, a district opponent in Ingleside will be there, so we'll be able to scout them a little bit, but they'll be able to scout us too. So they'll be there. Rances Pass and Orange Grove. Both Rances Pass and Orange Grove we've already played this year. George West we played this year. But Calallen we haven't, Lyford we haven't, Kingsville we haven't. So those will be new faces. But again, we're such a young group that any competition that we play against is good competition. Even earlier, to kind of answer your question earlier about what I'm expecting, the last 2 days we've had really good practices. So we ended out our discussion when we broke out just a little while ago and let the girls go. I told them I was excited. I was excited because we put together 2 really good days of practice, and I'm excited to see it translate to our gameplay. So we looked really good, and some of the things that we've been missing on whether it's missed opportunities and execution of the offense, whether it's little flaws in our defense on the communication with our switching. I saw us actually execute it at practice. So I'm excited to see that on the court now, not just on practice, but on the court. Another thing that we practice, and thank you for coaches, the boy coaches. I had the freshman group come over and scrimmage us. So the freshman boys came over, and of course, freshman boys and boys in general jump a little higher, move a little faster, can cover a lot more ground, a little bit more active than we're used to seeing. But that's just going to make us better, when we go against athletic competition like that. If we can execute and handle the pressure against the boys, then tomorrow should be a lot easier. So I try to put them in a stressful situation at practice with the boys, and the type of pressure they can generate for us, whether it's press, whether it's half court offense and defense. I think that's just going to make us better. And then it's a technique that I used in the past. shown a lot of benefits from doing that and giving us a lot in return. So anytime we get a chance, we try to do that at least once a week, where the boys come over and it's a controlled scrimmage. We'll run the floor for about 20 minutes, and there's a lot of whistles in between. There's a lot of teaching in between on both sides, but it's good work for the boys and it's good work for the girls. Um, so I'm excited for this weekend to see how we develop, because every game we've kind of gotten a little better, and there's a little signs here and there, and little doors open, and there's some things where I see some personnel, some kids kind of stand out, and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know she could do that," just because they've given the opportunity to really showcase what they can really do. So hopefully by Saturday we've taken a big step forward to where we need to be.
Yeah, coach. Well, it all sounds good. I mean, some of the stuff, the tempo that you are instilling there when it comes to weights, I think is definitely going to be beneficial to the girls. And then bringing in the freshman boys, you're right, they're a little faster, a little quicker. So if you can handle that, we'll be doing good in some of these teams that we play. We'll get used to it. So I like that the boys, the freshman boys are coming over, and then they're learning too, right? So it's great for both of our teams, for the freshman boys and for our varsity girls to be able to do that. So it's great, coach, and thank you for taking the time to come out and explain it. A lot of us don't know. We go to the game and we don't know what's going on. What are they doing? And so these podcasts are able to give the coaches an opportunity to talk about their program and be able to sit and have this conversation of what exactly is it that we're doing and what are the things that we're putting in place to get better. I know when I go down there, I remember, okay, coach said this, so I'm looking for this. Yeah, I'm looking for this. So it's great conversation, and I'm glad we're able to give you an opportunity to be able to come out once a week to talk about all of the things that are being instilled there for our program. Coach, then on Tuesday, the Lady Pirates will be back at home. That's this upcoming Tuesday. And it'll be a little bit of a different schedule. The boys and the girls will be playing. That's varsity at home, but the girls will be playing at 7:30. Usually they play at 6:15, but this upcoming Tuesday, Carroll will be coming into town, Corpus Christi Carroll, and the Lady Pirates, the varsity team, will be playing at 7:30. So it's a later game. You come on out. You got plenty of time to come on out, eat dinner, and then come out and cheer the Lady Pirates against Coach. What I think is a pretty good CC Carroll team. What can you tell us about Carroll coming in next Tuesday to play the Lady Pirates?
Yeah, Carroll, they're known to have some athletic girls that are going to press you and run the floor. So again, it'll be a good challenge for us. And I laid out a couple of games like that right before we kind of go into the Christmas break, just to kind of again really expose what we need to work on. And then another tough tournament right during Christmas break to kind of get us ready into going into district. But Carroll's typically has some height, some speed, and they have a DNA of what you're going to see once you get to a second, third, fourth round, get to the regional tournament type of deal. Of course, they're larger schools, so they're going to have more talent to pull from. But again, it's going to be another good test and a great opportunity for us to showcase how far we've come. And again, give us a chance to see at the end of that game what we need to work on. So I'm hoping that by then kind of remedy some of our issues and then go get after it.
Yeah, coach, I tell you, I'm looking at your schedule right here. You definitely loaded up Lady Pirates with some tough competition coming into the remainder of the non-district game, the tournament. And then the other team I see that's coming in, we're going to be playing some bigger schools. Definitely, I think makes us better. Definitely want to get those wins, but we definitely will be looking at some tough competition before the district starts. And it's a good thing because the district is tough. Beeville's there, and then we'll definitely in the next week or so, we'll get right before district starts, we'll get coaches' thoughts on the district. And I know you know the district very well. And so you can kind of give us some input on some of these teams and what you know from them coming into this year. Coach, before we get in, and we always talk about Coach every week that we come in. Well, this week, Coach, we picked a player that Coach will kind of talk about and tell us a little bit about the things that she does on the court and possibly anything else that we don't see, right? That the coaches see. But next week, coach, when he brings on, we do this when no player will come on. If coach schedules and has one of his players or some of his players coming on, then we don't do that. We typically focus on the girls that are on the podcast. But since we don't have one this week, coach will talk about one of his younger players here in just a bit. But coach, I wanted to see if you could explain a little bit. So when I saw the podcast, you have the C team. And I don't know if we've talked enough about the C team. I know you have talked a little bit, but when I look at it, what exactly you told us what the C team, but when you come in and they have games, and what exactly is it that the C team does during those games, middle school games, where they continue to get better? People were asking me, "What's the C team?" I said, "Well, they don't turn them away. It's great what they're doing because they stay in the program and they continue to get better. But if you could explain a little bit more during the games, what do they do, if anything, and what is the goal for those girls this year as they stay in the program?"
Yeah. So what it is typically, it's girls that in most cases, in most junior highs, they have cuts. So typically, it would be the girls that would get cut from the program, and we hate to do that, especially at a young age, because as seventh and eighth graders, um, they're so young, they're underdeveloped. They haven't even hit a growth spurt yet, and they're still developing at a young age. And we would hate, number one, we want girls in our program, because we know the benefits of athletics and what it teaches our kids. And number two, uh, we would hate to lose a girl uh, and not even giving them a chance to develop and really see what they're about. We know we have pre-athletics in sixth grade, but that's kind of still at a young grade. They're still babies in sixth grade. Seventh grade, they're still developing. So instead of cutting them, we carry a C team, and it's a lot more work on the junior high staff, the coaching staff, to help to balance that schedule with them. But in the long run, it pays dividends. Um, and that we're a strong believer in that. Coach Sosa supports that and is a strong believer in that. And then and one example I want to use is Trevor Garcia. Those of you who know Trevor, he was a big time football player for us. And Coach Haas will tell you he was a C teamer, a B teamer when he was even in seventh grade. Uh, and anywhere else, he would have gotten cut from the team because he wouldn't have made the team. Uh, Now, just think about what he did for us on the football field this past year. Not having Trevor, we probably wouldn't have had as much success as we had this past year if it wasn't for Trevor and his abilities. So those are the type of stories we like to tell our C teamers. In the past in Beeville, I had one girl that barely made that was a C teamer, and then by the time she got to her junior year, she was 6 foot and was committed to ACU to go play volleyball and football. She was just a late bloomer, and it wasn't her fault. But in Beeville with Coach Sosa and his philosophy that we're going to keep them on, and they were going to stay part of the team and stay practicing, and they'll get their time to scrimmage each other before the B team game that starts at 5. They'll come on, and it'll be a controlled inter squad scrimmage that they get to play and show their talents. And eventually, sometimes they'll go from C team to B team, and then all of a sudden they're playing regular games. And sometimes those B teamers, by the end of the season, they bump up to A team, and because they were given that opportunity. And in Trevor's case, and then in that one girl's case, is they start off as a C teamer, B teamer, and all of a sudden they're signing to go play college ball somewhere by the time they get to high school. So those are the stories we like to tell, and those are the stories that kind of keep us, that we had to remind ourselves as we're going through the process, that there's a diamond in there. Even though they're a C teamer, they're still special to us, and we're going to treat them as a first stringer, or we're going to treat everybody the same, and give them the opportunity to develop. And ultimately, that's what our C teamers, C team girls, is what we want them. We want them to be part of something. We want them around, and then of course want them to develop into something special.
Well, Coach, kudos to Coach Sosa, yourself, all of the other coaches, Coach Hustle, he's been here for quite some time, and to all of the middle school coaches, because I think that helps. Like the Trevor story, I didn't know that about Trevor. I mean, I saw him on the field, but those are the stories you tell that we don't know. People watch this podcast wouldn't know because the way you saw him. To a lot of people that I talk to, they'll tell you Trevor was the best a player on the team, right? It's everyone's opinion, but I heard that a lot from people. They felt that way about him, and to know that when he was in middle school, he was, there still learning, and from that seventh grade or eighth grade or sixth grade to where he got his senior year, what a jump, right? And so I think one of the key points that you hit on that I caught here was that they're still young. You don't know at that age. They haven't had time to go through the system, through the program. And this allows them to stay active into the program. And then they get an opportunity to move up. And that's huge, getting into that seventh, eighth grade. They learn a lot the next 2 years going into to a freshman. So I've seen B teamers on the football team start middle linebacker for Rockport. I would see him on the B team seventh grade, and then I see him starting a linebacker on Friday nights, right? And so in those couple of years, a lot of it is coaching, but a lot of it is I want to get better. And by keeping them in the program, they get that opportunity. So thank you for what you do for our athlete. That's awesome. People they didn't know what's the C team, and I said, well, I'll get coach to jump on and kind of elaborate a little bit more because I see the schedule and I'm okay. C teamers are going to play. How does that work? Because we've never really had them when you go see a game. So thank you, Coach, for what you do. It's definitely going to help our athletes and it's going to help our program down the road. Now, Coach, I'd like to get your thoughts. As I said, we don't have. Last week we had Annika Guerrero and Kelly Darnold join the podcast. Coach don't have anyone now, but he's going to be working on getting some for next week and beyond. So when we don't have someone, I ask Coach if he can talk about one of his players and keep in mind that player may join the podcast later on. That's okay. But tonight, we want to talk about a sophomore and Allie Garcia. And if you've never seen her play, she's really tall, still very young, got a lot to learn. But Coach, talk to us a little bit about Allie, still a very young player, but the sky's the limit for her, and hopefully what her career will look like when she graduates here and some of the stuff that she could possibly do for us on the basketball court.
Oh yeah. First thing that stands out with Callie is she is a very raw and talented athlete. If you put her on the volleyball court, she can excel. Put her on the basketball court, she can excel. She can probably go to track or softball if she really wants to. I don't know what other sports she plays, but athletically, she has the tools. I think the best part about her is her personality. She's like I guess like the class clown of the team, so she's always Billy's always sometimes a little too silly at times because I gotta tell her to get focused and lock in sometimes, but she has a great heart and she loves the sport. You could tell because you watch her play, and as soon as there's a loose ball, she'll be the first one to go and jump after it. So you'll see her on the floor a lot hustling, um, and and again, she, like you said, she's young and she's raw, and she's going to be really good for a very long time. She still has a lot to learn, as do all of our basketball players that we're still learning. Even as a coach, I'm still learning. So I'm learning the kids. and with Allie, I'm learning her strengths and weaknesses, and then again, as a coach, it's my job to get her better. So I'll work on those weaknesses. Her post moves, like again, she has all the tools. Is now teaching her how to use all those tools. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. But the love for the game, you can see it in her play. And she loves her teammates. She has a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun with her. And she's a good student, very good student. And she, a lot of the times, unless she's not having a good game, she kind of wears it on her face. You can tell when she's frustrated. Uh, um, but it's coming from a good place. It's more about her being frustrated in herself. At first, it came off to me when I didn't really know Allie uh, as a flaw. I saw it as a flaw. I saw it as her having maybe not a very good attitude. But once I got to know her, it was more of her just being upset with her play, whether she missed an easy shot or she missed up on running a play. She gets hard on herself, which is good because it's going to force her to try even harder. So that's a little bit about Allie. She's one of our post players. She plays the 5 position, the post position. Um, a little bit about her production. Um, last few games against Raymondville. I'm looking at the stats book. Miss Allie, number 22, has scored 8 that game, and then came back, scored 6 against Moody, and then scored 5 against Dripping Springs. All right. And then typically it gets in the double digit range, depending on who we're playing. But I think she's at a point right now where people are starting to recognize her ability. So they're starting to game plan for her. So this day and age with Huddle, they get access to our film and they really see, okay, there's number 22. We need to make sure we double team her when she gets the ball at the block. So, and that's part of it. It's part of growing up. So she needs to learn that. And she needs to know when to give up the ball when that double team comes. She needs to learn how to get open before the double team comes. And those are all things that we've kind of been working on. And those are things that she needs to figure out, and we got to figure out together as a staff is still getting production out of her. Even when she does get double teamed, she gets all that attention. She needs to understand that if she is getting that attention, then someone else is going to be able to benefit from that. So that's kind of where we're at, and that's a little rundown on Allie. With that being said, I'm excited for the next few years to be able to work with her and see her develop and grow.
I will too, coach. And she's young for all of the Pirate fans. She's very young. She's a sophomore. But I did see that the play, the height of what she can potentially become, right? And there'll be some hiccups. Obviously, she's got to learn. She's young, and that comes with the game. But really, the rest of this season, going into her junior and senior year, hopefully she'll continue to play. What she can become is got to get people excited because definitely the tools are there, like you said, coach. So just talking a little bit about our sophomore. She's a sophomore, Allie Garcia, playing post there. Coach told you her number, so now you know a name. When you come out and watch the game, you can put the face, the name with the jersey. Now that's why we do this on the podcast. Coach, thank you very much for coming on, spending some time with us. I know it's been a long day. The once again, the Lady Pirates will be traveling to Orange Grove tomorrow, and on Friday, possibly Saturday as well. They'll be playing in the Orange Grove tournament. So next week when Coach comes on, we'll definitely have him recap that for us. And then, of course, on Tuesday, definitely come on out. That's a home game here as the Lady Pirates will take on Corpus Christi Carroll. That game for the varsity starts at 7:30. So it's not a 6:15 game. It's a 7:30 game. So definitely want you guys to come on out and support RF Lady Pirates basketball. Coach, thanks a lot. And I'll give you the final word here. Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No, if you guys are in the area or want to go watch some good basketball, head over to Orange Grove and come support the girls. We would love to see you out there. gives the girls a whole lot of energy when we got fans in the stands. If not, then next week we'll be home Tuesday and Friday, some home games, and we hope to see you out there.
Absolutely, coach. And again, we'll be out there. So I was out there. The girls had off yesterday, but we're out there to get those games. And so that's the other part of this is streaming as many games as we can. We were able to get the second half of the freshman boys, the full JV game, and then the varsity. And that's what we want to do to give the people who can't make it or grandparents or family members who live too far able to watch and support Pirate Basketball, Lady Pirate Basketball through our live stream. You can catch that on our Pirates Cove sports network. So when I do it on my own, come in there with the small equipment. We usually just sit in the stands, but there are going to be some times where we are going to bring in the equipment like we did for the football games, and when we do that, we'll be set up a lot different. And you'll be able to see the scoreboard. We'll have it on the screen just like we do football, and we'll have the bars and we have any sponsors or sponsors up there. So we'll treat basketball and every sport just like we do Friday night football. So we're excited about that and working towards that and getting a location where we can sit up there and connect all of our cameras and stuff. And that's going to be better. Hopefully we'll be at the very, very top of the gym, coach, where we can see down and people stand. They don't get it in front of the screen. So we're definitely looking to do some of that. I know we'll be doing some of that during the district for sure. So definitely you can tune into that. My tech guy will be out there with myself and we'll be calling the games. We're not professionals, but we try our best. The one thing we do, coach, is we try to be positive and be professional for both sides. So we do love the Lady Pirates and we support them, but we're also respectful to the other team. And so anybody that watches this, coaches, we would love to have also a coach, if you're able to get it to us, Coach Gonzales. We'd also like to get a lineup or starting lineup or a roster for the other team. So in case we call a number or we can call them by name and not just a jersey number. So if you can ever get that to us, or that'd be great for both teams, for the Lady Pirates and the opposing team as well. Coach, thank you very much. Good luck tomorrow. Safe travels there and back as the Lady Pirates go to Orange Grove. And then we will be back, Pirates Cove Sports Network, on Tuesday as we'll live stream the game here against CC Carroll. Coach, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bye.